Shoot.
So you're talking about tolerance, as in people are using tolerance as a way to call you out and make you be polite in their framework and how they observe reality. So this is, like I mentioned, context and intent in just about every single thing is completely overlooked. And there is, especially like any form of either like reductionists or people that want to believe that their way of seeing the world is the right way and the only way you should see the world. And this can sometimes be the challenge of a lot of progressive people because they don't. So the key word here is key phrase is transcend and include, right? It's not I get better and you're an idiot for not being better. It's transcend and include. So you transcend yourself and you include your old self as a part of that because it's part of the process of learning and developing, right? And what happens is sometimes people will transcend, if you want to call it that, but then what they do is they exclude. It's like, well, you're an idiot because you believe in religion or because you're a reductionist or you're this or you're that. It's like, well, almost technically everyone's correct in our way.
Yeah.
Now, one of the best things to do is to stillman someone and go, well, where are they correct?
Yeah.
Right? And there's also a difference between truth and truthfulness. Yeah. Right? Is that you can't be truth, but you can be truthful.
Yeah.
And so what often happens is that people will want to reduce something down to something tangible and point at it. Like that's what it is. And you're being this. It's like, well, it's intent and context dependent because people that say, for example, you're not being tolerant of, I'm not really versed in this space, but let's use it as an example, transgender people. Yeah. It's like, well, that's not true. But also you're not tolerant of my voice. So you calling me not tolerant is you not being tolerant.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm happy to have a conversation and by all means, let's have the conversation. I think it's very crucial and we need to have both sides pulling. But it's the paradox of people going...
I don't tolerate intolerance.
Yeah, they hate, right? It's like, well, you see it's like, negativity is the worst thing. It's like, yeah, I bet it is, huh? Being a little negative there, I hear. Yeah. Yeah, and so that's where it's really interesting. So it's just like, do your homework, stillman people, don't strawman. That's where people...
What's the difference between stillman and strawman?
Strawmanning is like calling you an idiot. It's saying that you've got no precedence. You missed the whole point. Like I'm assuming you're an idiot. I'm assuming that you don't have any scientific background or knowledge, or you haven't done your research or anything. So it's like, I'm more than happy to go toe to toe with you, whatever that means, because I think you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. But I'm not listening. So how could I know what you're talking about? Because I'm not actually listening with the intent to understand.
Yeah.
Whereas stillmanning someone is to go, okay, let's look at their argument. Like seriously, let's literally look at the argument. Yeah. Because what happens is people get caught up with, let's say for example, their lack of a better term, their wisdom, and they're not their wisdom, right? Because the wisdom will be here when they leave, right? And it was probably here beforehand, and so it's actually somewhat social constructed over time. And the reason why I say that, not as in like a strict construct, but as in influenced, is because the way you think here in Canberra, Australia, is, I would argue, would be different to how you perceive the world if you grew up in South Africa. 100%. So there has to be a social influence into it, right? And so because of that, then we construct something to make reality, like understand reality, build our own map. And so by stillmanning someone, we then want to be able to make sure we can look at them and go, okay, well, what is your argument? Because I've got a point of view, but I'm not my wisdom, because when I die, I realize that even before I was born, all of this information was there for me on some form for me to grab and understand and build into something, and then when I die, it'll still be here. So don't confuse yourself with, I think Peterson says it as, don't confuse yourself as the wave if you're the surfer.
Yep.
So don't confuse yourself as the wisdom. You're just an observer. So, because then also if you attack the wisdom, you're not attacking me anymore. You're attacking information or an understanding of reality or whatever it is. I'm fine. I don't get caught up in having to be right, because the truth is the most important aspect of a conversation. Mm-hmm. So it's worth still manning someone, or still womaning, whatever, still peopling. I can't wait till they change Manchester to Peoplechester. But it's just like, it's like, what about the animals? Mammalchester, the reptilians.
Trash Panda Chester.
Trash Panda Chester. Quackachester. Quackachester, yes! That works. So yeah.
Bad, it's silly.
Yeah, so in that circumstance, it's crucial. And there's, you look at the idea of an ideologue in a political sense, but then you understand that's all through the fitness industry.
Oh yeah.
And so it's transcending and including, right? That's the key message, and it's something that I think is crucial. That was introduced to me via Ken Wilber's writings.